It's my first time doing my story from my mouth live. This is a live one I'm doing with King George, aka the first true no limit soldier. You know, now many of y'all may not ever heard of King George. I never heard of King George until I watched this No Limit Chronicles documentary. And in the documentary, it tells a story, but while I'm watching the documentary, I'm like, oh, who's this nigga? Who is this? Who is this? Who's King George? Who is uh Kelly G? Who's Big Ed? Who's Chili Powder? Like, who are these dudes? Like, when we hear the No Limit story, we didn't know about all the real untouchables. At least I didn't, and I'm a diehard hip hop fan. As far as hip hop, as far as No Limit goes, to me, successfully on a commercial level starts with the Mia X, Mr. Swerve on, Mystical, Master P, the Ice Cream Man. I'm thinking it started from that point. You know what I'm saying? But now when you're looking at this documentary, then you're seeing that it was other people involved, like King George, and others. You know what I'm saying? But without further delay, I'm gonna get into this right now with my man King George. You're gonna bring him in. He is originally from the CP3, the Calio projects. For y'all don't know, he is from the Calio, and he moved to Richmond, California, just like P did and everything. But we're gonna get it straight from his mouth. Y'all know the motto from my story from my mouth is we all have a story to tell and a lesson to learn. Well, this is King George's story right here. All right? King George, what up?
Hey, what's up, man?
Hey, how you doing,
ready to spit it, let them know what's going on.
Hey, that's what's up.
Hey, yo, how y'all doing out there?
All right.
Yeah, King George here, the first true No Limit soldier, bringing it to you, 100% real, never serve you any cut at all. I'm gonna serve you the real dope. I'm from New Orleans, Louisiana, born and raised. Left New Orleans, CP3, Mean Projects. 88, 89, I took off. The crack epidemic was at its heights. That's the only thing we can do back then, but serve that thing in the little bag off. But it got too heated, so I took off to California by my family's decision because they didn't want to see me in a pine box. At that time leaving, my boy Master P was taking off without me knowing because New Orleans is a little city. It's a crescent city, and you know everybody in the city. So you got born killers out there. You kill or be killed. That's the motto. So we decided to try to better our lives, and I headed out to Oakland, California, by my sister Cookie, and Master P headed on out to Richmond, California, where I ended up moving to Richmond after a while.
All right, so let me ask you this real quick. How old are you now?
I'm actually 54 years old.
Okay, and how old were you when you first met Master P?
Me and Master P grew up in the Cali, but I knew Master P since he was about 6 years old.
Okay, and where do you reside now?
I'm residing in Piedmont, California. That's a little suburb of California between Oakland and Berkeley. It's like a little quiet town.
Okay, so What would you say your upbringing was? Poor, rich, or middle class?
My upbringing was not poor; it was dirt poor. Because the thing was, uh, in the projects back then in New Orleans, Louisiana, it's kind of hard on blacks out there. But the thing was, I started off about 6 years old being poor, but my family got into dealing pharmaceuticals, and then we start seeing money, at least enough money to get cars, stuff like that. Not rich, but comfortable in the ghetto.
Right. Okay, and so um, did you grow up in a single or co-parenting home?
Actually, I grew up in a single parent home because my dad was dealing pharmaceuticals. He ended up being taken out of the family like most black fathers back then. They take the man out and the woman have to raise him. But my dad was back and forth in my life, but my mom was always there because my dad was a hustler and he get out, he worked. But in Louisiana, it's so tight to where you hustle, and next thing you know, you meet your demise as far as going to jail.
Right. So, what you call it? As a kid, what did you think you were going to be?
As a kid, they glamorize prison as a fun thing when you're growing up as a kid because you see your cousins, you see your brothers, you see your dad, they all going to jail. They make you think it's fun. So I'm thinking I'm gonna be locked down. I thought it was fun.
Shit. No,
That
that
was I wasn't thinking about being no entrepreneur, none of that. I was thinking I was gonna be in prison. Even though I did my time when I had to do it, but that was the outlook you had. You didn't even care. You know, you like shit, when I grew up my uncle been to the pen, my cousin them, shit like summer camp. You can't wait till you get there and find out this shit is bad.
yeah.
You know, who wanna sit in prison? They
I,
coming out all swole, clean shit. They make it seem like they've been in the army or something
right. So,
until you find out.
how far did you get in your education?
Actually, I got my education honestly to the 11th grade until I got a GED because the schools wasn't really teaching me nothing out in uh, uh, in Louisiana because I wanted money.
Right.
Ever since I was 11 years old, I was in school, but I always wanted money for some reason. I was around a lot of hustlers, people that got money. You know what I'm saying? So my whole thing was just get money.
Okay. Um, so what would you say was your first career choice?
My first career choice because they always try to keep us down in the ghetto. So I didn't think that I can be nothing but probably like a garbage man or something, a person that do construction because I wasn't in trying to go to school. You know, I wanted some money. So when they tell me go get a job, the first thing come on my mind, damn, I don't really know how to do nothing, you know, because I wasn't going to school. So back then I was like, damn, maybe I'll be a garbage man. And then when I tried that, I said, shit, I'm going into the pharmaceutical business like everybody else and went that route until I got in trouble.
Okay, so I ask everybody this question: what age do you feel you became an adult?
I actually became an adult at the ripe age of 19. You
Why is
know,
that?
at least in my mind, as being a man, in my mind,
Why
19, I thought I was a real man
why you say that?
because I was doing man things as far as trying to have my own, going out get my money, uh, having me a girlfriend. I can this is things I consider as being a man. Uh, 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 Trying to give back to my family and just respecting other men as men and handling my business if I'm disrespected, you know. So that in my mind made me a man.
All right, I got that. I can respect that. Um, the other thing I wanted to ask you was, How old were you when you made the career choice that everybody know you for?
I was actually 25 because after a while of doing pharmaceuticals, I started getting into entertainment and I started squaring up. And you know when the break dancing era came out and the Run DMC, so when I started getting my money doing pharmaceuticals, and my mom got me a little side job because she said, "You may as well go legit because if you just do this little pharmaceutical thing, you're gonna meet a demise." You know, so I kept a little part-time job on the side doing security or something like that. At the same time, I got into breakdancing, and I got into that for a while. That kept me out of trouble. Then I got into rapping about 25, 26, but really before that, about 23, I started getting to breakdancing and rapping. And I used to go to different clubs. Me and a little guy named Shine. He was in a wheelchair back then. And I actually ran into Master P at a show we was getting ready to do, and Master P had a full tuxedo on. I tripped out when I seen him. I was like, "Hey man, get this tuxedo at." We was at a show in the Calio. They used to bring the stage out, you know, entertainers, right? And
Right.
anybody had talent, they invite you in. But 3 or 4 weeks prior to the show, they'll let us know anybody got talent, you can go on this stage. So we was already signed up, and I didn't know P was signed up, and P was getting ready to go on stage and do his rapping thing and dance whatever he do. But he was clean. He always was a guy that was always standing out. And I tripped out. He was in a full tuxedo, black and white, and saw him on the side of the stage. I said, P, where you get that tuck from? He thought I was trying to play jokes with him, but I was really complimenting him because he
Right.
was clean. And that was the start of us getting into entertainment. So I went to different clubs, rapping on the mic, you know, freestyling to different beats back then. They had some good old school instrumentals you could throw on and just bust down on the mic, you know?
Right. Right. So when you ran into P for the first time outside of New Orleans, what year was that?
I ran into P in 1988, late 1988, 90. No, early 1988. I just remember I was leaving Oakland, California, and I was on the BART train. That's like the subway
Yeah.
in California, but they call it the BART. And I stopped at a station called El Cerrito del Norte. That's right outside of Richmond. And
Right.
I looked across the street. I saw Jack in the Box. I said, "I'm gonna give me something to eat. You know, let me give me a chicken sandwich or something from over here." So I went to the Jack in the Box, and soon I opened the door. P was coming out the door, and I was like, "Whoa, what you doing out here?" And that's when me and P reunited from New Orleans out here. And he was like, P was like, "Hey man, I'm rapping." I said, "Man, I'm rapping too," because I wanted to be a rapper coming out to California because I know this was like entertainment capital.
Right.
And me and Pete chopping it up for about 30 minutes. I couldn't believe he was out here. He couldn't believe I was out here. And from then on, we connected like brothers. The next day, me and Pete was at it. And he came to me. He said, what I want to do, I want to start a record label. I said, a label?
Hey,
I just was trying to
how
rap,
old were
right?
you? How old were you at this point?
I was about 23, and Master P was about 21.
Okay, so No Limit wasn't
Something like that. I always was a couple of years older than Master P.
so No Limit wasn't created at this point when you ran into him.
It wasn't created at that point. 1988 wasn't created.
Okay, so all right, so now what happens when y'all two get together and start kicking it?
Okay, we hooked up the next day. We talking, we just happy. Uh we out here because there's two guys from we happy to see each other. We just oh shit. We gonna have some fun, you know, find some girls, even though he was married, we still go out and get us a couple girls, have some fun. So a couple of weeks prior to us going back and forth, I went over to Master P house. It was him, his wife, Lil Romeo, and his wife, family members, because that's who they came out. Pete came out to California with his wife to his Sonia family. So Sonia had family out here. Anyway, and I'm sitting down, Pete playing some beats, and he come out and said, "Man, I'm gonna start a record label." And
Oh God, King George, we just lost him. Hold on, y'all. He'll be back. He'll come right back. As soon as it start getting good. As soon as it start getting good. So, as y'all can see that a lot of people been hitting me up, yo, who's this King George dude? Yo, he's lying. This, that, and other. Well, so far as you can see, when him and Pete linked up in Richmond, California, No Limit wasn't even a company yet. So let's see where it's gonna go. He's gonna come back on, I'm pretty much sure. Instagram, I'm live on YouTube right now with King George, the first No Limit true soldier, the first true No Limit soldier. Oh, let me call him back. Make sure he all right. Oh, there you go. Yo. Okay, we back.
Yo, I think we had a technical problem there. I just cut off.
Yeah. Your reception started going bad. It's all good. We good though. So the last thing you said was, he moved to Richmond with Sonia's family. I think he in a bad area. Yo. Can you hear me? Yo.
Choke, I think we had a technical problem.
Yeah, it's just your reception. Can you go somewhere where you got Wi-Fi?
Oh.
Yo, you know what? We're going to do it over the phone. Can you hear me? George, you hear me?
I think we had a technical problem. I don't know what happened.
I think it's your reception where you at. But you know what? We could talk over the phone and still do it.
Okay, all good.
All right. So where you left off at, you said
yeah, I was sitting in the living room and Pete said he wanted to start a record label.
Right.
And I'm totally lost, right? Because I'm just trying to rap, right? Pete was always a businessman because he had it from his grandfather. His grandfather was a businessman in Callio. Because the Millers was kind of known. There was some tall people, real tall, all of them, real tall and slim, and all about business. So they stood out, and Master Pete adopted what his grandfather gave him and came out here with the business sense. So anyway, he said he wanted to start a record label. And I was like, what you gonna call it? And so he said something. Then he came with No Limit. And I stood up, I said, yeah, that's it. He said, you like that? I said, I love that. I want to do that. So he went in the back room and he had a whole bunch of logos. Back then, if you wanted a logo, they had a logo catalog. So he looked in the logo catalog, he fumbling through it. He see a few things over there. Then he see a tank with two gangsters on it. He said, this one. I said, that one right there. He said, that's you on one side and that's me on the other side. That's us. And it was rolling over records. I said, yeah, I like this one. And from then on, we adopted No Limit Records in the tank, and that was it. And we rolled from there.
Now, let me ask you a question. When he said that he wanted to do the label, did he talk to you as being a partner?
Well, I ended up being his partner because everything he did, even the funds that supported No Limit was made by me and him. We hustled together. And we hustle and make 2,500, he get the whole pot. This is how we roll. And he said, look, this is what we're gonna do, King. We're gonna go record with this. This for your pocket, and this is for this. He always told me, he said, King, if I get a fucking pair of jeans, excuse my language.
Yeah.
He said, if I get a pair of jeans, you get one too. If you notice, me and P got pictures where he got a leather jacket on and I got the same jacket on. He got a jean outfit. We wasn't trying to dress alike or nothing like that. We just were so close to where we fell in place like this. You know?
Right.
He got a striped shirt on, I got one on too. They're like, damn, people actually thought we was brothers at first because we had the same accent and we in California.
Right.
You feel me? So we stood out and said, there goes two brothers right there. And we almost looked alike back then. So, like I said, everything we did, it was me and Master P all the way up to the deal.
So now I'm playing devil's advocate. I'm gonna talk to you like I'm not sitting here defending P.
Do what you do.
Yeah. I gotta ask you questions to see, so the people can understand. Now when
right. You hit me with anything.
Okay. Now when P said he was starting the record label and y'all was in the same room, y'all conceptualized this together down to the artwork ever. When he went to go incorporate the company, did he put your name on the paperwork?
Honestly, I wasn't on no paperwork. This was all done by Master P. He tell me what he doing. He even showed me I copywritten everything because you got to realize I'm just a thug from New Orleans. I'm a pharmaceutical dealer from New Orleans. I'm not my mind is not on business. But if my boy can do this, let him handle that. I believe we're gonna make it if we do it like this. But I didn't understand the part about paperwork and all that until we start getting money. I thought it was all rough. I learned the hard lesson.
Right. All right. So when everything's taken off at that point, then you find out your name ain't on no paperwork.
Oh, okay. Let's back it up. Let's back it up a little bit.
Okay.
This how it go. Okay. First, let's go from the first album, Mind of a Psychopath. That's a cassette, right?
Yes.
That's out. We put that out. We go to Rainbow, press it up, and let In a Minute Record distribute that, right?
Right.
If P got $500 off them little cassettes we sold, because we wasn't selling very many back then, because we didn't have the exposure. Yeah, Scarface, Ice Cube, NWA, they go get theirs taped before they even see ours, right?
Right.
So, Master P get $500. He gonna come to me and let me know what he got. This what got me. P was a stand-up man. Hey, King, we made $500 off this. I got all my trust in this man. I should have had paperwork, but I didn't know anything about that, to be honestly. So anyway, we got the first tape out. To put that with the first tape out, you got to understand, Master P got his own record store. It's a little store, but this is his. It's called No Limit Records. It's a small little shotgun, small one room, like a hole-in-the-wall record store. You walk in and you walk right back out, right?
Yes.
So you got to give it to the man who was on this business. He's getting his tapes and everything from a distributor to sell, just like a real store, but it's a small store, like a mom and pop.
Right.
So he was always on the business. So I'm following this too, as a employee. And it's my boy. I'm keeping it all 100.
Okay.
So now he got the record store out there, and we got the album out. So now, as we made up our mind here, man, we may as well get our hustle on out here, right? Now we hustling because we got to get these records out.